Hey guys, welcome to episode 6 of Dash and Holmesy Take Your Hearts. I'm one of your hosts, Dash, along with my co-host, Holmesy. How's it going, Holmesy?
Number 6.
Number 6.
I can't believe it's already number 6. I feel like it's going really, really quickly. I'm doing very well, by the way. How are you?
Yeah, doing good, dude. Yeah, I know it's unreal. We're up to number 6, and if we think about it, we're doing it like almost monthly these days. So we've been doing this now for 6 months. You've been playing the game for 6 months. So this has been really cool to do, like as in a book club kind of style gaming podcast so far. I mean, first of all, before we jump into like the game aspect of everything, how are you finding this kind of style of like show to do?
It's good. I feel like it's the best way that I've found to be able to play this game without any kind of time pressure. It's like being like you need to play a certain amount by a certain time. Like given the scale of the game and how much time we have in between, I feel like 3 weeks is enough to kind of take your time playing the game and enjoy the process. I feel like if we did this weekly, might have been a little bit a bit of pressure to like play a lot of the game in a little time, and it's I feel like this is good pacing. I do apologize for anyone listening, by the way, if you've been waiting for reps. I won't go into details, but I've had a few things delay the recordings and being able to play the game, but hope that you enjoyed the past episodes and you feel like you want to stick around.
Yeah, no, I think everybody will be alright with that. I think we've had a few listeners over on. Oh, by the way, yeah, one thing we've got to thank is the listeners over on iTunes and SoundCloud, especially SoundCloud. Yeah. Guys are awesome. Thank you so much for listening. The last episode of Dash and Holmesy actually ended up on the top 50 most listened Australian entertainment podcasts, which is really cool. So thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. We also charted on iTunes as well. We've been doing really well with iTunes, so thank you guys so much. Really, really appreciate everybody that's been listening to this. Obviously, there is a big fan base for Persona, and we're a part of that fan base too now. And thank you so much for spreading the love. Holmesy, what is this show? It's our tri-weekly book club inspired gaming podcast where Holmesy and I will look into some of the hottest games right now. We're currently playing Persona 5, and it's kind of like an experiment we're doing with Holmesy right now, where he's playing his first playthrough of Persona 5, and we're dissecting it. Guys, if you like that, don't forget to follow us on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/dashandholmesy, and on iTunes, where you can give us a cheeky 5-star rating, but also you can catch us exclusively every 3 weeks on 8bit.net with our hungry family. Holmesy, let's jump into the game.
Yeah, dude, we've made a bit of progress compared to our last bit. We're pretty much at the end of the third palace, second palace,
the
second palace,
the second palace. Madarame's
Kamoshida and Madarame, and now we're up to
the third palace,
Kaneshiro. Gosh, these names sound, or at least I say these names. 2 of these names sound very familiar. Not that we've made a lot of progress, but
no.
I saw Kaneshiro. I'm just like, this sounds like Kamoshida, but they've just like. Kind of made it sound a little. They've just changed a couple of. Anyway, they sound very familiar, very similar. But yeah, we're up to that bit. We're up to the 26th of the 6th, if I recall correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And we've moved a few. I think nearly a week or so in advance of where we were last time.
Right. So you're up to the 22nd. You said, yeah. 22nd.
26th of the 6th.
26th of the 6th. Okay. So I got to ask now. So since passing Madarame's palace, you're now into the third palace of the game. Any shift you're finding now of differences between now Madarame's palace to Kaneshiro's?
I mean, it's obviously again like another type of theme that's very different to our last one. Like Madarame's is very much art themed, and he's a delusional, self-proclaimed, I guess, artist of sorts. He's like, you know, taking other people's work as his own and just being like a bit of a d-bag. But
right.
Whereas Kaneshiro, I feel like we don't know too much about Kaneshiro apart from the fact that he has a lot of money and he has almost like a monopoly over, I guess, like parts of Tokyo.
Right.
I can't remember where his palace is based now. What's the name of the city? It's one of those. There's a city that's like the whole palace is the whole city is his palace, or the whole like suburb, or like where we are.
It's not Shibuya, is it?
That sounds right. That sounds right. It is a Japanese city though.
Off
like
to
the whole thing.
Off to Google.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of the city, but I know that like when they said that, I'm just like, oh god, okay, so the last places that were palaces were, substantially smaller. Now this guy has like a whole city as his palace. Is like that's immense.
Yeah.
Obviously, his palace, if you've been playing the game or you've played the game, we know that like it's a floating palace above the city, so like it's sort of separate to that area, but still like the area down below, like that's quite a big area to cover. But I think it's cool. I like that I think it's clever the way that he portrays people as like ATMs or like money machines, and he sees people as, again, like objects or things as opposed to actual people. So he's obviously a pretty shit person, probably the shittest in the game so far, or one of,
right,
out of the 3 so far. But he's pretty ruthless.
I was gonna say, were you expecting an antagonist like him to come across at all? Like, were you expecting someone like him to actually be in what you've expected to come across so far, or is it something that now is starting to kind of take a leap a little bit? Because we've had like a school teacher, a art teacher. Is this kind of something now that's kind of taken a little leap forward now to you, or?
I mean, the first 2 are teachers, I guess, in a way, but like I haven't seen the correlation with him being a teacher so much, but like I attribute him to being a greedy person, or like someone who's I know that there's like this whole thing that I still don't get yet. I know that there's something that I've not probably picked up on or that I'm missing yet, but I just, if we're doing the whole like 7 deadly sins kind of thing, then he seems like the greed kind of guy. I don't know if that's like it still, but like,
well, let's kind of go back again. So the first fuck, I can't remember his name now. The bloody first teacher, Kamoshida, was lust. Second one was Madarame. He would have been greed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because if you think about it, well, what would Madarame have been if out of the 7 deadly sins?
I was trying to think as I was talking about this what he would be in my head, but I can't think of what he would be because I don't, off the top of my head, remember the 7 deadly sins. I know there's like gluttony, which is like
lust, gluttony, greed.
Oh
man, see this? Yeah, this is where Google will kick in now. So the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah, so he would be... What are they?
Lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, and pride.
I mean, like, maybe he could be... Madarame could be envy, I guess.
Right.
Maybe. I don't know. I might not be right. I know from a certain perspective, or like pride, because maybe pride because he hasn't got the spark anymore, so he's trying to use other people's work as his own, so he's trying to maintain his public-facing pride. I don't know, but I saw Kaneshiro as a greed one because he just wants everyone's money. He's a greedy person who wants to hoard money.
Okay, so it's now the theme has become obvious that it is part of the 7 deadly sins, because we have dealt with lust. We've dealt with look, honestly, I think. Because I still don't even really know, because I've played the game a few times, but this is the one that makes me think that it's either gluttony, this guy's either gluttony or greed, because he's now dealing with money. The theme essentially is money in this one. And it's either one of the two, because if you think about Madarame and what he wanted money as well. And to me, that's more greed than gluttony, really. So, because Kaneshiro's core base obviously is to actually steal as much money from everybody that he can.
Yep.
That would more along the lines, I think, maybe mean gluttony than greed. Greed's more actually trying to attain the dollar. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. If you go means overindulgence and overconsumption of food, drink, or wealth items. So I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Especially like seeing as when you meet Kaneshiro, he's got like guys around him that's serving him with drugs and all this other stuff, and he wants it now and everything, like he demands it. It's more gluttonous than greed,
Yeah, true.
Because the theme of Kaneshiro is that he already has the money, so he wants now to get as much out of it as he can. So,
true.
I guess that's the thing. So so gluttony would be his theme, I guess. So tell me a little bit about what you know about this guy.
I feel like I don't know too much. So like I know that there was like this whole there's the whole kind of drug sort of not drugs. I don't know whether drug smuggling is the right word. There's like trafficking going on in like in the city, and they were trying to find like a source of where these people were coming from. But like and like one of the main like towns, you could like come across these shady looking guys who'd approach you and be like, "Hey, I see you're short on, you need some money, or like you seem like you could use some extra money. Do you want to do like a part-time job?" And then you'd do it, and they'd take photos of you like laundering drugs, and then they'd be like, "We've got photos of you doing it, so keep doing it for us, or we'll leak these photos and get you in trouble." There's like this big conspiracy thing going on, being like, who's behind all of this? And then eventually Makoto just decides to go fucking ham and just be like, "I'm a bad bitch, you can't kill me." And then just goes ahead and like confronts them head on, and then finds out like who the person is, or knows who the person is, and tries to get them to come out. So that's kind of crazy. That's that was really nuts. But I feel like we don't know too much more about him. Like I haven't seen more than like his palace and like how he behaves and the kind of like the shit that he does. But like no, I feel like we don't have too much of a backstory on like who he is in this universe
at this point.
So far. Yeah.
Okay. So have you now? Last episode we talked a little bit about Makoto and actually getting introduced to Makoto and what she's like, being a little Miss Princess, or sorry, I should say a little Miss President, and also well, she's very not stuck up, but she's very by the book. And now have you actually experienced her awakening yet, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can't say I was surprised. I saw it coming, and I was just like, as soon as there was like conflict between like her talking to the president, like the president of the school, and her talking to her sister, and like all these conflicting feelings about like, am I doing the right thing with the president? Like what he's trying to get me to do, or the principal, sorry, not the president, the principal of the school. What am I saying? There's like this whole conflict with the principal, and like the way that her sister dealt with things, the way she thought about it, and it's just like, as soon as I saw that kind of stuff, and like her thinking like the Phantom Thieves aren't that bad, and wanting to see like, she was trying to like manipulate them to do things that she wanted to do. Like, I didn't see a way that she was going to get what she wanted without seeing the Phantom Thieves for real. Yeah. And then as soon as she went, like, I mean, I expected it, but as soon as she went into the metaverse, I'm just like, yep, here we go. Give it 15, 20 minutes. She'll be part of the team. And then sure enough, 15, 20 minutes later, she's just like, nah, fuck this. I am a Persona lady now. Yeah. And she gets a motorbike. I gotta say, I'm really happy that there's finally a character with a nuclear main. I'm real stoked about that.
Yeah. What do you think about it?
I've like been very strategic in keeping my my personas with Senpai with like a nuclear attack, because they are very useful for a lot of like sneaky enemies. Yeah. But having her with like the blanket, like small damage to all foes, and then the single like targeted damage for like one attack, it's very, very handy. So yeah. And she gets a bike. I'm right up my alley.
Yeah, so, and that's something that you also spoke about last time, which I laughed about. I think it was maybe even the first or the second episode where you were like, "Oh, we're grinding mementos now," or maybe it was the third episode, and you were like, "Why can't we have a persona that we can ride in or something like that?" And I was like, "Well, technically there is, but I mean, you still can't ride it like when you go grind mementos or anything like that. But I mean, it's close enough. You do get a persona that's a bike, a motorbike, which is really cool, you know?
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah, I gotta say, she's probably one of my favorite characters in the game, to be honest. Her attitude and everything just, it resonates really well with what I would expect out, like of a strong female lead or lead character, or like a protagonist in the game. And it's really well done. I mean, you don't actually get introduced to her right at the get-go. You know, it's somewhere, I wouldn't say in the middle of the game, but it's somewhere that's about halfway through. And her introduction into the group is just great strength is shown. You know what I mean? It's she's not somebody who will back down. Yeah. And you know, she has obviously got, like much of the Phantom Thieves, they've got their problems, you know, in their real life, which is shown as well, which is something I also want to touch on now. Obviously, her background is really something that fuels her to have her awakening in the game. So did you... what is it that you know about her and her background that has made this happen, basically?
I mean, from what we've seen in the game, like pretty much what I mentioned before, like I mean, I don't really know too much more about her character from at least what I've seen so far. I know that she doesn't feel like she's anywhere near as successful as her sister. Like we've seen her like comment on that quite a few times.
Yeah.
But then she doesn't necessarily agree with like the things that her sister stands for. They lost their dad, I think they said like 3 years ago as well. So like they've got a family member who's passed, and the sister doesn't or Sai doesn't really like goddamn that scene, like the scene where they have like the dinner at the table and she like calls her useless, and then like Lady Ann calls her useless as well in that not like saying she's useless overall, but in that particular moment she was useless to their cause kind of thing. She gets called useless twice, and that's like almost like the turning point where she's like, nah, fuck this. All right, time to go do something useful then. Like, let's go and do this. Like, that was real brutal. Like, seeing that like happen to her at night during dinner, and then like in the morning the next day of like the day we're gonna go do stuff. She's like, man, she cops a lot of shit. She gets called a pushover, useless, and useless. Yeah, and she just sort of like, that's enough. There's not like a lot more aside from like people have just been like constantly digging at her, and she's almost had this ongoing self-doubt throughout the game, and then suddenly she's just sort of like, something is, much like every other Persona user we've seen so far, something has snapped, and they've just been like, all right, let's do something about this. I've had enough.
Exactly. What do you so obviously they really haven't touched too much on it. You hit the nail on the head. Yes. Their father was a police officer that was killed. Obviously now with like tension between the two sisters, with Sai actually revealing, hey, you're useless to me, and, my work is more important right now, and leave me alone, or whatever. It's just one of those things where the backstory of it might, like right now, obviously getting interrogated as the main plot line of the story right now by Sai Niijima, and now Makoto becoming a phantom thief. This is the point where the story kind of turns a little bit, and it's like, oh shit. I did think about that too. Yeah, things about to get real fucked up now, because not only am I getting interrogated by a police officer who's her sister, she's joined the group now, and this can make things either worse or better for us, depending on how we go about it. You know what I mean?
Depending on how Sai takes it as well, I guess. Like, because I know that we have those little jump scenes where we go to the interrogation. Yeah. And we still haven't had one of those for quite a while. I think the last time was talking about like Makoto having like an interaction with the group. Yeah. And her being like distraught about it, and like this, I think from that point on, this is now where Makoto's been more involved, and I guess like Sai is listening to this whole, we're playing the recount of the story kind of thing. Yeah. I'm interested to see once it cuts back how she takes it all. I'm keen to see how Sai reacts to it, because I don't know. After the dinner conversation, I'm not expecting it to be great, but I mean, we'll see.
Have you I was going to say, have you at all has it not been revealed yet in the story to Sai that she's a phantom thief, or?
No, that hasn't happened yet. So I mean, I figure that's coming up, but so far it's only been So far, it's only prior to, it's like been the lead up to her interacting with us more was that was the last scene that we saw with Sai in the interrogation before this palace sort of started up. Yeah.
So this is going to be interesting. So like it's obvious, because he had being interrogated by the sister, he has to admit stuff. And so, you'll eventually get to that point. It's funny because I remember getting to that point really early on. So I guess there might be... it usually when those kind of things happen, it's usually because you have to make a confidant out of them as well. Mm-hmm. So once you become a confidant with Makoto, I guess that'll happen anyway. Yeah. So... speaking of confidants, so where are you based on your confidants at the moment? So like how are you going with those? Have you upgraded? Have you met anybody new? Have you been working on Yusuke?
Nobody new. There's been one that I wanted to look at because I actually checked my menu a little earlier as well, but I'll go into that in a bit. Mm-hmm. But I did level up Morgana recently. Morgana, I think like there was just like a scene that was unavoidable, but Morgana's like on the bed talking to you. And like you can like you don't even respond. Like Morgana's just like, yeah, cool, there's just like, it's a good conversation, whatever. And then I got like a boosted confidant for that. So now I think my confidant level with Morgana is level 4 or something now. So I get I I think it's kitty talk or something like that. So if I fail an interaction, Morgana will step in and be like, "Yo, let's help you out with this one because it seems like you suck at that." So that's handy. It's pretty much the same thing that Ryuji does as well. Ryuji saved me a bunch of times with those conversations because I've messed a few up. So it's good to have that though. It's nice to have those little extra buffs. I have though been looking at because I realized there's a few like the clinic, the lady at the clinic. I can't remember all their names, but the lady at the clinic I know is level 1, but I'm not too fussed about that.
Oh man, I can't remember her name. Yeah, go on.
She's level 1, but I haven't touched on that yet. I realized as well that the reason that I haven't been able to level up Lady Ann is because there was an opportunity early in the game before the first palace where you can sort of start talking to her, and then if you miss it, the only way then is to find her in the underground mall and talk to her, and you need enough it's either enough kindness or enough charm or something. I think it's kindness, actually. You need enough kindness to be able to cheer her up and take her out to like have lunch or something like that.
Oh, yes. Yep.
But my kindness is not level 2, so I've gone out and bought like the nutrients for the plant. So I'm going to start like feeding the plant. I got a book on kindness from the library. I'm talking to Sejiro more, stuff like... I mean, I already talked to Sejiro because it's Daddy Sejiro.
So Daddy Sejiro, yeah.
Yeah, but I've just found ways to get more kindness in the game. So like I think once every like week or two, you can feed the plant to get more kindness. And I'm just going to keep renting and borrowing and returning books for kindness as well, so I could boost that. And then finally... boost the confidant with Lady Ann, because like I said last episode, fuck Morgana, I'm gonna start dating Lady Ann, not her, not him.
So you're gonna work on that, are you?
Yeah. I'm gonna. I mean, I'll do it for the confidant too, but also because just to spite Morgana.
Are you gonna So that's the thing. So to work on that, a little spoiler, you have to work on obviously your stats on them, but you have to max out that character to date them. So that's...
can I date Ryuji?
See, actually, no, that was a discussion that was brought up by a lot of the fan base.
Oh, really?
Because you could romance in other Persona games, specifically Persona Q on 3DS. You could romance male characters as well in the games, but apparently on the main systems you can't.
Right. I mean, I know that it does say on like one of the trophies in it actually says like, it doesn't say anything specific about like being in a relationship with someone, like being in like an intimate relationship, whatever like that. But it does say like max out or like max out a relationship with a character. It's like, it's very non-specific about what type of relationship, it is.
Yep.
So I realized like obviously you can romance somebody, but I figured you probably can't for some of them. Obviously, like you can't romance Sejiro because he's like an older man,
right?
But like I was wondering whether you could with like
that'd be weird. He's like your dad, but go on.
Like, yep, yeah. I don't know, just like trying to think of like the most messed up example.
Yeah,
or Morgana, like romance the cat.
Well, you've gone there.
But I noticed that, so I figured you probably couldn't, but I was curious as whether you could.
Yeah. So the female protagonist of the game, you can. You can actually form a bond with them, and also not just the protagonist, some of the social links that you make throughout the game you can actually make the effort to get into a relationship with.
I figure you probably can with like Makoto and with the clinic lady as well, because they're all females. I figure if you romance them or raise enough of your confidant with them that you probably can. It's a Japanese game, of course you can romance any female character that's in the story.
Do it with Makoto, and then tell Sai, hey, not only is she
hey,
part
yo,
of the Phantom Thieves, not only is she part of the Phantom Thieves, boyfriend. Yeah, big shock. So
I feel like that wouldn't go down so well in the interrogation, but anyway.
I should probably kill him in the interrogation.
Yeah.
That's it. You're dead. Bang.
End of the game. Yeah, you're done now.
We done here.
Game over screen just rolls. Oh, the wasted sign from GTA 5.
I want to talk a little bit. Have you been talking with Mishima at all? The nerdy kid from school who sends you all the alerts?
Yeah, he tried to take me out for an expensive dinner. Like, he asked if I wanted to go out for dinner or whatever.
Man,
and I know he's very clearly into women in the game, because like as soon as like you. Who do we put him in? We put him in touch with the reporter, like Oya or something like that, or Oya.
Yeah.
We put him in touch with the reporter to report about stuff. And he's like, oh my God, you gave a girl my number? Thank you so much. I'll let you know if we hook up. And it's just like, Jesus, man. She's just going to talk to you about a report story. She's not going to like grab your wiener or anything like that. Like, settle down.
Yeah.
But then like he takes you out to this expensive restaurant. He's just like, yeah, let's go get like an expensive buffet, all you can eat. We got the money from the donation. Oh, maybe we shouldn't use the donation money for this. Is this immoral? Yeah, this is immoral. Hey, thanks for coming anyway. Let's go home now. It's like, god damn, this is a big turn of events, and you don't even get to sit down and eat food with him.
I love it.
He's
a loser. He's a big loser
in the nicest way.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I remember,
His heart's in the right place.
I remember playing through the first time of the game, and I didn't do any of the side momentous missions at all. And every time
you didn't do any.
No. This is my first playthrough.
Way.
First playthrough I did in 80 hours and got through it and was like, I didn't have to respond to his texts or anything. Because every time he texts, be like, because the first couple times I was like, okay, I'll go see what this kid wants, and then it just got like he just became the annoying, clingy.
Hey, do you want to hang out?
Yeah.
Hey, you want to hang out?
Hey, let's go bowling, and it's like, fuck off.
Hey, you want to hang out?
Yeah, pretty much every fucking 5 minutes. It's like, kid, fuck off. Yes, I'm a Phantom Thief. Fuck off.
Yeah, it gets. I noticed he starts to like text you a fair few times. I'm just like, I can't decide whether to hang out with Ryuji or with Yusuke or we hang out with the kid. And it's like, what are we doing, man?
Yeah. Oh, it only gets worse too. So good luck.
I've slowed down on Ryuji now because I realize, like, as cool as his character is to me, I've got like most of his confidant is like pretty high up right now. So I think I want to spend time on others. So I'm gonna probably like work on the ones that are gonna give me like different arcana boosts and stuff like that. So
2 episodes ago, we talked about how Ryuji was your favorite character. Then I think you jumped over to Sojiro.
Sojiro, yeah.
Is it still the same again?
I mean, she's not my favorite. She's not my favorite in the game, but I do like the change that Makoto's had as well. It's cool to see. I think I mentioned this early game as well, that I expected her to change, like to be part of the team at some point. I expected her to be a Persona user. I just didn't know how or when. But I like her character, and I especially like the wholesome relationship you see kind of pan out between her and Ann as well. Like that little table conversation, like in the student council room or whatever. Like they sit down and say sorry to each other. It's just like, girl talk. We're powerful women. Fuck yeah. I like that. Yeah. That was really cool. So like that's great. I like who she's become. But I think in order of like favorite to least favorite, it probably go. I'm not like in the top. We'll say top 3. We'll probably go Sojiro because he's just the most zen chill dude. He's like a toasted marshmallow. He's like crispy rough and like not. He's like real hardened and shit on the outside, but on the inside he's all fucking gooey and soft and like he's a nice dude. Yeah. And then Ryuji still, because Ryuji seems like he's kind of focused again. He's not fucked up like he did the last palace. Yeah. And then Yusuke. I know they're all male characters, but they've all just like, I like Yusuke's characters because he's so direct about like certain things. It's just like the way, I can't quote something now, but just the way he talks about some things is just like, damn, fuck, dude. Yeah. Just like say like the most direct thing you can think of to anybody. Like who cares how they respond, but it's just like, I think it was something that Makoto did. She's just like, I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have done this. And he's just like, yeah, you're right. You shouldn't have done that. It's just like, damn, boy.
My God. Yeah, no.
So I like his composed and direct personality in the game is great. Yeah.
I think, like, out of the characters that you've gotten up to so far, like, my favorite at the time was probably Yusuke. I think just something about him, like, being so zen about everything, but the thing was he was so awkward. He's like obviously hasn't got the social skills. Yeah. He hasn't got the social skills to keep up with everybody else, and like he just spouts anything that comes to his head. However, he is pretty honest when it comes to those times that it needs to be said, and also in the serious moments, I think he has great advice. So. Yusuke was one of my favorites, definitely. I think now that you kind of get into the Makoto side of things, that's when I kind of was like, this chick I dig. Yeah. So, yeah.
I've actually, speaking about Yusuke as well, I tried Yusuke in my party for a little while too. Okay. But I think it might just be given the palace, but he didn't do well, so I took him out and put Makoto in. So my party now is Morgana, Senpai, Ryuji and Makoto.
Oh right, okay. So
I got rid
talk
of
to me. Tell me what was missing from him.
It was just the attacks that he had. Like he's strong, like he's got good physical, but like a lot of the shadows that you fight in the palace that you're in right now, they're not, they're resistant to physical damage, or they're not weak to. He doesn't have fire, does he? No, Ryuji has fire. Lady Ann has. No, so Ryuji has lightning, Lady Ann has fire, Morgana has wind. You get anything what you want, really. What does he have again? He's got something else. It's not obviously nuclear. What's his ability again, or what's his focused kind of element that he gets? I'm blanking really hard now.
Yeah, I think he's mainly
he gets good physicals, and then there's something else that he has. But
he's got a wind strike. I know that he's got a very heavy wind strike.
Yeah, I just noticed in this particular palace he wasn't quite the character that I needed. Like he didn't have the right sort of element attacks to do damage. So in the end, like Makoto with like the nuclear damage did wonders for me for so many different fights.
Yeah.
And I got to actually, because of her being able to knock down so many shadows in fights, I actually got quite a few new masks as well, to the point that I maxed them out. And then like traded them in and used the gallows. Now I've unlocked the gallows, which is cool.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's pretty good.
That's my my composition at the moment.
Yeah, no, that seems fair, I guess. I mean, and that's the great thing too about swapping out the characters, like when you're either at the start or in a save room or anything like that. Being able to do that and actually balancing out your party too, and knowing what kind of upgrades they can get throughout battling as well. Actually, that was something I wanted to talk about as well. How are you finding battling at the moment now with your current party? Have you noticed now, like with different elements coming into it and everything, it's starting to get a lot easier, like much more of a breeze to get through some of these battles? Or you finding that because there are those specialty battles that we talked about last time where only some enemies can be attacked a certain way, is it easier, frustrating? What's happening there?
I've not actually, in the time we've been playing, I think I lost when I played today, I think I lost one fight because I forgot to do like an auto recover. It was just a stupid mistake.
Okay.
Like I forgot to hit square and auto recover, so I was like, oh, okay. I went in with like half health for everyone, so no wonder I lost.
Right.
But like aside from that, it's been pretty cruisy. Like I've got because Morgana and Senpai, and now I think Makoto doesn't have it, but at least like 2 of my characters have meteor, so I can do like a 50 health heal on every character, which is like for 2 turns 100 health for everyone is perfect. Like I can heal most damage pretty well.
Right.
So like I got the strats down. I've looked at like I know Senpai's persona really well. I've actually got now, since using Gallows, I've got 2 really strong personas. The Phoenix, which looks amazing.
Yes. So cool.
Phoenix looks sick, and I've actually, because of the persona that I used to fuse the Phoenix, I now have like the light damage attacks, so they're very basic. But I have like I've got like fire, ice, and lightning for my 3 main attacks as well. So like the Phoenix has like the trinity of like main damage.
Yeah.
So he's got like really cool damage, and then I also got Oni, like the big tall guy that looks like kind of he's made out of paper.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So is it like now that you've got like some of these personas that actually upgrade like throughout the game, are you finding that some of, like when they say, oh hey, you got this persona now, do you want to discard this one? Are you finding that having some, like, have you made a mistake so far of discarding some of these personas, or like have you noticed that some of these ones that you've actually been upgrading to have actually been, as I said, making it easier, or has it been a case where, oh shit, I should have kept that persona because I had that power?
I've actually been able to pick most of them pretty well. Like I haven't gotten rid of anything that I've regretted getting rid of.
Yeah.
Like having a limit of 5 earlier was tough because I maxed out my personas and I couldn't take any more. And I wasn't near the cell room, so I couldn't actually go in and like, use them for anything. Having 10 is great, and I've managed to like using Gallows, like I fused 2 extras into 2 different personas, and using like just the normal fusion stuff, like that was great too. So
yeah,
I've managed to take care of them pretty well, I guess. Like I had a really weak one, which is like that little devil guy that had like the life drain or life steal or something.
Yeah.
But I got rid of that, and that helped out like a ton. So I've I don't know, I haven't really had any issues like maintaining them.
That's pretty good. Okay, well that's a good thing to hear, because like honestly, when I went through on my second playthrough, I discarded a couple personas. I wouldn't say at this point of the game. I'll probably say a little further down the line, and I kind of regretted discarding a couple of them because I really needed them at one point. It was like at a point really vital into the game that I needed them. So that's the one thing I would suggest is like make sure when you do discard some of these personas, you know which ones you're discarding. Even though some of them might be at a lower level, they still have some of those attacks that really hit hard.
Yeah.
And some of them you might need because they're just their element themselves, because some elements obviously work and some of them don't.
Yeah.
So
I've made sure I keep at least like most.
Yeah.
For my main character, like for Senpai, and then remembering when I know what my party is for the Palace now, like I remember that I have like Makoto for nuclear, I know I've got Ryuji for lightning, and I know I've got Morgana for wind, and then my own guy with like his mix of whatever persona I want.
Yeah.
So I know that I've kind of got it all covered now. It's pretty good.
Very good. Yeah. No, that's good. Let's talk a little bit about just in general your social stats. So basically, have you kept up again with your gutsy, proficiency, your charm, your kindness, and knowledge?
I haven't really focused on them too much. Like I mean, kindness I mentioned before when I did look at, so I have been making that go up. Like I started doing that, not as often as I could really, because there's not too many opportunities right now.
Mm-hmm.
Usually with Sejiro, you can focus on working with him after you've done the palace. That's when you get the downtime to speak to him, and like studying as well. It's like, oh, you shouldn't be studying right now. You got to focus on the fact that you've got 3 million zen or yeni money to give to the guy, man.
Yeah.
So all that kind of stuff I can't do, but like what was it? I crafted like 4 lockpicks recently, so I did that, and like that ended up like raising my proficiency.
Right.
So I did those, which helped out a little bit. And then my knowledge went up as well because of like the classroom stuff.
Right.
And there's something else that I did. Like I've been doing the batting cages as well to get stuff up there, but nothing specific aside from learning that to get more interaction with Lady Aunt, I need kindness. So I was just like, okay, as soon as I learned that, yep, I'm gonna go sort that out and spite Morgana.
Obviously, that's your mission right now, isn't it?
That's it. I didn't even care about where I'm supposed to be going. Spite Morgana. That's it.
Just spite Morgana. That's your main mission right now. Let's also talk about your fusions and everything. So, have you been visiting Igor lately? Have you been going to see him? And
yeah. So I fused a few. Like I made Phoenix and the Oni recently out of those, and like they were actually Phoenix. I knew I needed because I was watching. I needed to be level 22 to make it, and so I kept the persona I needed to make that. And because of my confidants, I fused it at level 22, but because of the bonus that I got for that particular Arcana and the confidant that I had, it ended up bumping it up to 23 right at the bat.
Oh, wow, okay.
So I actually had like a persona that was a level higher than what I was allowed to have because it leveled up after I acquired it, so that was good.
Yeah.
The Oni, I think, was like level 21 and went to 22, so it was like at the level I was at, so they've come up really well. Like I've kept the higher level persona that I have are at the same level as my character, which is really good.
Right.
There's a few that are low level. I think I had like a treasure demon too, so I fused that with my Oni, which bumped his experience up again too.
Right.
So yeah, I've been using them a little bit because I noticed that my inventory was full. So as soon as I saw that, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to go and ditch that. I did notice though, I did learn, which I think is awesome, but I want to see if there's a benefit to do it. Yeah. I really liked Arsene when you got him in the start, and I recently learned you can buy him back.
Yes.
I did not realize that. I must have missed something because I saw that and I'm just like, oh.
I was waiting for this.
Should I buy Arsene back and get him in my party again, or is it really not going to do too much for me? Because like I thought I could get him, grind him up to the same level as my guy, and then just have him as one of my mains again. But I don't know really what kind of benefit there would be to having that. So
it's once again it's a risk to do that kind of thing as well, because you never know. In the case of Arsene, he like obviously being a really early persona, and then like giving him up to fuse him with the little pot, I guess, the little pot plant character you get.
Yeah.
If you buy him back, you're basically buying him back from the scrap heap again and trying to build him
he's level
up.
1. Yeah, he's like your first guy, so yeah. He's pretty low.
Yeah, exactly. And using him against, stronger enemies that you'll probably encounter enemies like about maybe like a level, I'm going to guess and say 20 right now, or
17 to 20, yeah, usually. Right. Like I think like there's right before I got to KANESHIRO, right before I got to like the bit at the end of like the final elevator before you go down to like his sort of like treasure room sort of bit.
Yeah.
When I got to that, there was like the triple fight with like the 3 different kind of like almost like big guard looking guys.
Yeah.
doing that, I think they were like level 20, 21 or so.
Right.
So like they were pretty strong, but like I haven't seen anything much higher than that.
Let's talk a little bit about the aesthetics now, because you've played the game almost halfway through. I'm going to say almost, because it's obvious now that I told you last time there were seven palaces anyway. So you'll be about halfway through once you get about halfway. No, once you defeat this palace, I guess you're kind of halfway through. Yeah. So aesthetics of the game so far. How are you finding aesthetically? How are you finding it? Like, I know it's obviously different to what you usually play. Is it aesthetically pleasing, as many people put it?
Yeah, I do. I like the art style. I like the way it all looks. Every single like the time you spend, like how long you spend in each area, I feel like you spend long enough in there that you don't get sick of the place. And there's so much like it's a linear, it's almost linear but open world at the same time. Like it's like this is where you need to go. However, RPG, you can go any other fucking direction, and there's like treasure chests to find here or hidden switches for different doors and things. That's why I've been crafting lockpicks, because I know that there are treasure chests around where I can get bonus stuff. And I know that you can get good things like amethysts and like different crystals to sell to the airsoft guy, which has helped me to buy like new armor and stuff. So I'm very mindful of things that are going to help me financially in the game for the grind and for getting my characters up. So that has I feel like you spend enough time in each palace though that you don't get sick of it, and because it's so linear in that sense, by the time you've gotten through it, it's just like you get a new place. It's like, this is refreshing. It's entirely different. And I never got sick of the last place because I spent the right amount of time in it. So, I feel like I'm going to say this every single episode.
That's okay.
I'm sorry for the listeners that are up to episode 6 and you can still hear me saying this, but I gotta say
is this about the first?
Every
first
other palace that I've done so far has been paced perfectly, except for Kamoshida's. Kamoshida's palace is the hardest thing I've ever gone through in my entire life outside of gaming. Anything, it's the hardest thing I've ever had to. It's not really, but it took forever. So every other palace's pacing so far has been great. I really like it.
You said that last episode word for word just then, like. Sorry, everybody.
I'm
pretty
much.
Gonna sound like I'm saying every episode, and every episode you have said it. But look, it's the truth. In terms of the palaces, like Kamoshida's palace is obviously the worst out of the lot. And we've gone through that now many times, and we've discussed this many times. But now you're up to KANESHIRO'S palace. See, I want to ask because essentially KANESHIRO'S palace has one of the most popular pieces of music in the game. Which is titled Price, and it plays in the background. It's kind of like a boppy kind of sounding music compared to like what you heard over at Matarame's and I keep forgetting his name. Kamoshida, yes.
Kaneshiro.
Yeah, that's it. So how are you finding the music now? Like, I know you've gone through it, and we talked about the music before, and you weren't a big fan of the music. The main Shibuya song, when you're traveling the streets and everything, which that one's titled Beneath the Mask. I know you said, something about, Shapeshifter and all this other stuff. How are you finding it now that you've played through it and listening to the lyrics a little bit more? Have you noticed that like there is a connection in this that's they're trying to say to you in that song basically, and also like the songs that they're giving you basically just to go through? Are you getting upset? Are you getting bored? Are you okay with them?
I mean, the music sort of it's not grown on me, but I feel like I'm just kind of like I listen to it and like I've heard the lyrics. I couldn't quote them for you right now, but I know it says like that you're a shapeshifter or like behind. It says like behind the mask kind of stuff. Like there's lyrics like that in it, so it's like okay, it's just a song that's themed about the game. So it's talking about you wearing a mask as a Persona user. Yeah, but I haven't gotten sick of it. I definitely prefer the music in KANESHIRO'S Palace compared to the last two. Right. This one's definitely the easiest to listen to, but I'm still not a massive fan. If someone was to say to me, like, what would you rather listen to? We'll talk about two JRPG games. If someone said to me, do you want to listen to the soundtrack from Persona, or do you want to listen to the soundtrack from Kingdom Hearts? I would absolutely listen to. I can't. Think
I know. You love your Kingdom Hearts.
I would much rather listen to Kingdom Hearts soundtrack. Like there are definitely better soundtracks out there than Persona 5. If you're a Persona 5 passionate player and want to contest that, then tell me and Dash and I, correct English. Tell Dash and I in the comments of this video or the pod wherever you're listening, what your favorite game soundtrack is and why compared to, and if it's Persona, why it is Persona, because I could not listen to this in my free time.
I'll be honest with you, dude. Like, I've got the full soundtrack, as I said, like vinyl. I've got it on my phone. There are tracks I believe that you haven't actually hit yet. That there's just one. Well, there's two. That you'll hear soon. But there's one main one, but it doesn't come till like near the end of the game that really hit me. And I think when you hear it, I think you'll love it. Oh, actually, you know what? There's three, but I can't talk about them yet. You have to wait.
No, well, I don't want to know yet.
Yeah. There's three main tracks. Oh fuck! Now I'm gonna say four.
You can't count the whole game, Dash.
No. There's about 3 to 4. Well, there's over 50 tracks in the game, music tracks.
Goddamn.
So, like, there's 4 main tracks in the game that I believe are just great. I mean, the ones that you're listening to now kind of sound like standard elevator music, and I agree with you on that. I still like them, but there are about 4 tracks in this game that are kind of like, damn, that is some great video game music. Right. So, once you get to maybe you'll appreciate it, but I don't know. You kind of like your Kingdom Hearts music because you're a Kingdom Hearts fanboy. I know that.
Dude, I fall asleep to Kingdom Hearts music. I'll play that orchestral shit and be like, you know what? I feel
that's
like
not a good
relaxing.
thing to say that you're gonna fall asleep to Kingdom Hearts.
No, because it like not the battle music and shit, but like the nice piano chill music. It's just like, this is good. This is very relaxing. I like this.
Do you want to talk a little bit about Kingdom Hearts while we're here?
I'm very excited for number 3.
Yeah,
like exceptionally excited. I am okay. So, we'll go on. We'll talk about this for a brief moment, and then we'll get back to the game. I'm playing just for the sake of getting DLC in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh God,
there is a Kingdom Hearts Union or X Union X Cross Union X or something like that. There's a Kingdom Hearts game on mobile. Kingdom Hearts Union X or Union Cross.
Yeah.
There is a mobile mini game inside. There's a mini game inside the game, and if you complete the goals for all 5 different games, you unlock a code to get a game that's in the mobile. You get a Keyblade from the mobile game to use in the real game.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, and I'm up to the last area where I need to get the final score, and I've done all of them because I keep playing it on the way to and from work. As soon as I finish that, I get a code to redeem the Keyblade, and I'm that keen that I'm playing games I don't even want to play because I want to play these. I want to get more from this one. So I'm very excited for Kingdom Hearts 3.
No, very good. So let me ask you, because essentially Kingdom Hearts is part of the JRPG world. And I've got to ask, like, I want to ask, and we'll keep it within Take Your Hearts as well, within Persona 5. So between the two of the games, right? So you've played... What I want to know what appeals to you about Kingdom Hearts that like really strikes your core on that game. Like obviously it's in set within the realm of Disney and it's Disney Universe and everything. What is the main core of it though? Like is the gameplay? Is it the story? What is it?
The story in Personas are actually really good. So I would say like the story of both of them at the moment, Kingdom Hearts still has like kind of pulled me in quite a lot. So I do enjoy the story in Kingdom Hearts. However, Persona is shaping up to be quite an awesome one. So they're almost on par. I just prefer the type of gameplay that's in Kingdom Hearts and the customization and almost like the focus that you get and the grind. I feel like the grind is a bit more rewarding. I've said this before as well, and I don't want to go into that too much again too, but like the grind in this game, it feels like there's so much to focus on. Whereas in this game, it's just like you focus on Sora, and then occasionally you'll look at stuff for Donald and Goofy. And like I just like the gameplay where it's like open world, you can run and you fight real time. This one's turn based. They're very, very different games though in that style. Like I feel like the gameplay style is entirely different in that regard, but they both have their appeals. The soundtrack in Kingdom Hearts though for me is gratuitously better because I love everything about the Kingdom Hearts soundtrack so far.
No, fair enough. Is it turn-based RPG that you kind of are like, it's starting to get a little too slow for me to actually enjoy it? Or is it something that, because I know that you've played turn-based before. I've seen you stream turn-based RPG before. Is it something that kind of gets you out of the game a lot quicker than like something like Kingdom Hearts, which is not turn-based, it's more open world, kind of just like dive right in there. Kind of like, it's actually kind of like, a lot of people would say that Final Fantasy kind of took the formula of Kingdom Hearts and put it in their games now to make it very similar.
Yep.
Is something like, is this what appeals to you though? Is it something that is because like it's a lot more fast paced than a Persona 5 that would get you saying, okay, give me that Kingdom Hearts, Persona 5 can wait?
You know what I reckon would be the best game that I could say is like if Kingdom Hearts and Persona 5's playstyles were to have like a baby, it would make Final Fantasy 13. Because Final Fantasy 13 has like a little timer bar that loads up and you have to pick your combination of attacks before ideally, so that you fight as quickly as possible. You want to time your attack by the time your full bar loads up and then time your different damage attacks that you want to use and all that kind of stuff. So Final Fantasy 13 for me, like I played through the whole game. I really enjoyed it and I didn't mind the playstyle in that. Whereas Persona 5, it's in terms of fighting, it's much slower pace, and the progress I feel like as you're learning each character's weaknesses and stuff, it's not Pokemon, but it's turn based. It takes a lot longer for you to progress to a palace quicker than it will be for you to learn like what weaknesses in Pokemon like a certain type would have, kind of thing. I feel like it's a little bit there's a lot more to learn, and the pacing is slower, and there's a lot more to pay attention to and learn. That's also for me, like I'm past the point now where it's hard for me to do that. Like I can definitely go through and like I'm immersed enough in the game, but I feel like I think it's again down to pacing, like the same as like Kamoshida's Palace, like same with the play style. Like now that I'm stuck into it, I'm used to it, but in the start it was very difficult to get into the type of gameplay that it had.
Right.
I don't know if I've really specified too much about like exactly what I'm feeling, but that's the best way I can explain it on the fly.
So, like, you said that basically the story is something that actually gets you hooked to Kingdom Hearts as well as the gameplay. Explain to me a little bit about, because this is new. This is like something I'm learning about too. Because Kingdom Hearts wasn't really my thing when I was a kid. I played the first one. I didn't get to actually play the second one. I did play the first one. I did enjoy the first one. I can't say that I enjoyed it enough to actually pick up the second one, though. That was the thing. So tell me a little bit about the appeal, the mass appeal to you, though, that like actually gets you hooked to this story.
Well, I suppose on the other hand, now I think about it too, there's a lot of Persona games, and I don't know whether they're all interconnected or if they're all in... I'm sure they're all in the same world, but I don't know whether they feature the same characters or the same...
No, they don't. They're all different.
So
like that's why I said, like, if you start Persona 5, you don't have to play 4.
So it's a standalone story, yeah. See, like I think it's probably almost unfair in a way, though, I guess, because Persona 5 is a standalone game with a new story, new people, new place kind of thing. I want to say new place. Like it's still, I'm sure they're all still like based like closely to Japan or around that kind of area. But whereas Kingdom Hearts, like the reason I'm so invested in that is like I guess Kingdom Hearts was part of my childhood though. Like Kingdom Hearts was a childhood game for me. There's Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, which focus on the story of like Sora, Kairi, and Riku. Whereas like there's also Birth by Sleep, which follows like Terra, Ventus, and Roxas. Then there's like the whole like the there's 3 different types of enemies in the game. Like there's the Unversed, the Heartless, and the Nobodies, and like the Organization 13. There's just so many different arcs and stories and areas of the game that are essentially almost all converging to this like pinnacle of Kingdom Hearts, which is going to be Kingdom Hearts 3. There's games, I honestly think like when Kingdom Hearts drops next year, it's going to be like the earliest game of the year set ever.
Right.
Like, it's going to be like, this game is going to be the most beautiful piece of content released on a platform ever. I'm very excited.
I've got to ask because I can't really remember much of it. Is it very straightforward? Is it choose your path? Like, can you actually go and do your own missions, or is it very like linear, kind of like what Persona is? Like, it sets you on your path, and the next chapter is coming after you've done this one.
The story will guide you. Like, it'll tell you like, hey, this is where you have to go next, but you don't necessarily have to go there. So you can go to like, I know the start of the game, like when you finish Traverse Town in Kingdom Hearts 1, you can go Traverse Town, and then you've got the option of Wonderland or Deep Jungle or the Colosseum with Hercules, and you can choose any of those ones to go to, but like once you complete those 3, then you progress to the next section. So it's not as linear as Persona, which probably is kind of like my appeal as well. It's like it's very, very much like do what you want in a certain order, and or like any order you feel that's available. So
that was pretty good.
I don't know. They're different types of games. Yeah. But I'm very excited for Kingdom Hearts 3.
Very cool. I'm glad to hear that. Holmesy, I think we've pretty much summed up everything that you are up to right now on Persona 5, let's say Take Your Hearts, on Persona 5 and on the Take Your Heart series so far, which is really cool. And of course we touched a little bit on Kingdom Hearts, which I know you're really excited for, and something that we'll both be touching on in the new year anyway. So, But that's it for Take Your Hearts this week, man.
Awesome. No, it's been good to catch up again. Hopefully, I'll have made some more progress between now and when we come back for episode 7.
Yeah, man. This should be really exciting, so I can't wait. So, guys, if you didn't know, this has been Dash and Holmesy Take Your Hearts. Make sure that you follow Holmesy on Twitter at Holmesy5, also on Twitch at twitch.tv/Holmesy5. You can follow me on Twitter at Dash Gamers. Also, be sure to follow us on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Dash and Holmesy. Also on iTunes, where you can give us a cheeky 5-star rating. That surely helps us out every time you do so. Also, thanks to the people who've been commenting on SoundCloud as well. We really appreciate that as well. You can also catch us exclusively every 3 weeks with our hungry family over at 8bit.net. Be sure to also catch myself every 2 weeks with my co-host Buddy Watson on Dash Culture. We dive deep into the world of pop culture. Holmesy, this has been great. I've been loving this so far, dude. Like, your adventure with Persona 5 has been awesome, and I can't wait to hear more.
Yeah, I'm keen to finish up KANESHIRO'S Palace because I want to see where this goes, and I feel like there's a lot more of the story that I haven't seen yet. So
I think the next chapter that you're going to touch after you finish up KANESHIRO'S Palace is going to be one that's it will drive home something deep. Like the next one is going to be something that, like, this one's really good and it touches really well on attitude and everything. But I think the next one is just going to be like one of those ones you go, wow.
Okay.
So yeah, it's going to be really good. But until then, which will probably be episode 7, maybe episode 8. Until then, that'll be it for this time, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. Much love.
Stay hungry.
DashGamer.com